Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Greg with KillerReviews.com, and in this video we are going to look back on a film from my childhood called D.A.R.Y.L. Now the actual spelling is D.A.R.Y.L. So oh crap, I don't even know what that's called when when letters stand for something like USA. I don't know what that's called when letters stand for something. And most of you are probably going, I don't know what that's called either, but there's a few of you that are going, it's this, dumbass. So it stands for Data Analyzed Youth Robot Lifeform. Now, Data Analyzed Robot Youth Lifeform, I think. I'm pretty sure that's it. But I started a podcast called Digging Up the 80s, which was a spin-off of the Killer Reviews podcast, and we recorded like maybe 12 episodes over the course of a couple years, and people loved the show. It was a big favorite of people, and the format was me and my twin brother Sean, also known as Brain Chomper. We would each pick a movie, and then we would dig in real deep and like cover the movie from top to bottom and have a very in-depth discussion on the movie. And then we would rate it like on a scale of fun factor or nudity, comedy, like fun factor, and an overall rating. And then usually it was 2 movies. At one point we had a third buddy come into the show. But we're supposedly doing another episode of that after like 2 or 3 years it's been gone. And we're doing Daryl and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But I figured why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone by also recording a YouTube video for Daryl. So I just realized the camera looks like it switched since I went to check my email real quick for work, and it looks like the camera shifted a little bit. But so I have a bunch of notes on D.A.R.Y.L, and if you're gonna check out, look how bad my writing is. I mean, a lot of it's gonna be hard for me to read, I think. But I apologize if you're also going to listen to the podcast and watch this video, because this video is going to be quite long, I think. And I haven't made a video in a while, except I made a few today. But I feel like talking. So D.A.R.Y.L is from 1985. It's directed by Joseph Sommer. It's Sommer or Summer. And he also, do I have that? Oh, on the back of my paper, I was like, yeah, well, where are the director's credits? Maybe they're on the back. On the back it says, I felt I had to pee. I zipped up my pants. I peed. I feel better. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then I realized, like 2 weeks ago, I was helping my son with his homework, and he had to order events. So I came up with a new event. I had to pee. You have to put like a 1 next to the first thing in the list of events, then the second, sequences. So that's what that is. But anyway, the director, I think that was the, no. Joseph Sommer is one of the actors in the movie. He's an older guy. Okay, that's what that is. And then the film stars Barret Oliver, who was basically a childhood actor. He's a child. He's like 9 or 10 in the movie. But he was also in The Never-Ending Story. Another one, D.A.R.Y.L's not one of my all-time favorite childhood movies. I've seen it quite a bit, 3 or 4 times. I did like it as a child a lot. But Oliver Barret was also in The Never-Ending Story, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. He was the kid in present time that stole the book and hid up in the attic at the school. He's in this movie as the lead character. The movies were right around the same time. I think Neverending Story might have been right after this one. The director, Simon Windsor, he did a lot of TV, so much TV. He hasn't done much in a good number of years, but he did a lot of TV in the 80s. He went on to do. He's had a long career, and some movies I picked out. I really didn't know many of his movies. A lot of family stuff, a lot of TV stuff. But he did Free Willy and Operation Dumbo Drop, were the two movies I just picked out of his list that I thought were the biggest movies he's done. So, Daryl. Now, some of you, chances are, if you found this video, and you don't know me, like you're not coming to watch it just because you want to support me, you know what this movie is. Now, the film is about this boy, Daryl. He gets adopted into a family, and now the movie starts out with like some guy we don't know driving very erratically, and Daryl's in the back seat, and it looks like the guy is trying to get away from something, right? Like he's driving on back dirt roads extremely fast, and this is a time in history when a lot of the cars were like big boxy cars too. So he pulls over and just drops Daryl out in the middle of nowhere, and then just keeps driving. And there's a helicopter chasing the car, and the car blows up. I think it drives off a cliff and blows up. So the people in the helicopter, obviously the guy's running from something, and the car. I assume the people in the helicopter. Well, yeah, after you've seen the movie, the people are chasing Daryl, like the little kid. But the first time you watch the movie, you don't know that. You just know this kid gets dropped off, the car gets blown up. So the kid winds up in like a foster system, which would take too long to explain how and why. But it ends up in a foster system, and this family takes him in, and the dad, who I really like, is Michael McKean. And he was in The Big Picture, which he's a big actor from that time. So the family takes him in, and they begin to notice that he is really amazing at things. For instance, they have scenes, and the film is so structured. Like it's like how to write a screenplay 101. And I've done lots of research and read books on screenplay writing, and I know you're supposed to have certain major plot points at certain times in the movie. Like if a movie's like 90 minutes, a half hour, and you're supposed to have a certain major plot point. Every 15 minutes you have to have a character development plot point or a minor plot point, and there's a whole thing to it, right? And you watch a lot of movies. Like once you learn that format, you watch a lot of movies, and you can like the second something big happens, like let's say there's a road trip, it's some college movie and there's a road trip, and then like the first half of the movie is like meeting all of the, for instance, American Pie, the bet with all the kids that make a bet to lose their virginity, I would bet you at the 30 marker in that movie is when that bet is made, and Daryl is the same way. Like there's basically as soon as the film takes in this little boy Daryl, there's like 4 or 5 scenes right in a row that show you how special he is, where he's playing a pole position game on an old like Commodore 64 maybe, and he's so like he's playing the game and he doesn't die. Like he breaks the game. Like he plays where the game till the game runs out of memory. And he's like dodging cars. What they do is they film somebody playing the game and then speed up the film like 6 times the normal speed. So it looks like he's going really fast in the game. And I mean the car's going I mean like it's inhuman, it's impossible for a human to play the game that fast. So he does that. Then he plays baseball, and he can hit the ball further than any other kid on the field. right? And then there's a scene where the mom is really bummed out because she feels like she's not being a good parent to Daryl, because Daryl does all his own laundry, he never swears, does all his homework, he gets great grades. He also corrects the teacher in one of the scenes. In one of the scenes, the teacher accuses Daryl of cheating, and he goes, "Oh, I wasn't cheating. I was correcting his test for him." And he corrects the kid's test. So he does all these amazing things, and then about halfway through the movie, a couple shows up and takes Daryl out of the home, and they say, "Oh, well, I'm so glad you found our son," because his son went missing or whatever. And they're like, "Oh, I'm so glad, we found our son, like, we're going to take him back now." And then you find out about halfway through the movie that it's not really a couple. The couple that takes him isn't really his family. It's like lab people that work at a military base. And you find out Daryl is a robot. And so if it's your first time seeing the movie, and you don't know anything about the movie, halfway through you would realize, oh, he's a robot, that's why he can do all these amazing things. That's why, okay. So, and then soon enough, after some testing, the scientists realize that Daryl actually has grown beyond, reminds me of RoboCop, the RoboCop remake, that Daryl actually grows beyond a robot and started to take on human feelings, decision making. A robot is not supposed to, because at one point Daryl has to decide if he likes vanilla ice cream or chocolate ice cream, and he says he likes chocolate better. And like, robots don't do that. Like, robots don't care which one they like better. They don't taste anything. Like, they don't, unless they're programmed to a certain way. So certain scientists realize that Daryl is actually taking on a lot of human traits, and other scientists, more like the military guys, don't believe this is happening. They don't, that he's a robot. Robots have no human traits, so they're going to terminate Daryl. So that's the whole thing. So then, the whole third act, they try to get Daryl home to the family that took care of him. So, and then it becomes kind of like a kid. Daryl flies a plane. At one point, Daryl is on a plane, and he's in the cockpit, and the pilots are teaching him how to fly just for fun, just for like, oh, this is what this button does. But Daryl, being so smart, he picks up on everything. And then later on, at the end of the movie, he's flying a jet. So as a kid, you're like, God, this kid, like, I wish I could do these amazing things like he does. Like, there's a kid flying a jet, that's so cool. So the third act of the movie is him trying to find his way back home. And this is already 13 minutes? Oh my God. So, oh my God. It's going to make a half-hour video on Daryl from 1985. So, yeah, so the third act is them trying to get him back home. So, I have a bunch of notes. Okay, the movie, it's a good movie. It's a nice movie, but it's very dated. Like, it's so dated. The style of filmmaking, it's nice in a way, because when I grew up, a lot of the movies, they didn't have a lot of like close-up shots and a lot of cuts. It was just like, if there were two boys talking like by the pond, they would just have a wide shot, and like the whole entire screen would just be the kids talking, and it would be like a 3-minute take of them just talking and like throwing rocks or whatever. Daryl, what do you think about, Daryl, I'm sad you have to leave, Daryl, like, and they have a conversation about him leaving. Like, there's not a lot of cuts, close-ups, like, it's just like the camera just sits on a tripod. It's almost like a bunch of paintings in a way. Like they like paint a scene, and then you just let it play out in one shot, you know. And a lot of movies back then were like that. Very simple camera work, and it was cool to watch. A lot of the action too, you know, not a lot of cuts. Today's action is insane with how many cuts they have in it. But you know, it's almost like you know, they say like the MTV generation has to have a lot of, you know, the movie has to be really fast. You know, a lot of cuts, has to move fast. Back then, it was like, you know, the whole joke where, you know, like you see people like walk to the car, walk out, you know, walk from the car to like the front door. You see a lot of that stuff. It's just a slower pace, you know. And the music is an orchestral score. It's very like over the top. Like when it's sad, it's really sad. When the kids are riding bikes, like laughing, showing how Daryl, how much he loves being a kid and being alive. The music is all fantastical and, you know, big, and it's a traditional orchestral score, and you know, that's another thing you don't see a lot in movies. I feel like you don't. It's a very dated movie in that sense. The visuals, like I said, the cars, the clothes. I mean, he's playing a Commodore 64. It's quite fun to go back and look at that. I mean, like, I was telling my son the other day about phones. You know, I was explaining him like the phones were attached to the wall. You know, and you had a wire and like the whole thing. Like, you know. Of course, this movie, you know, it's the same way. I mean, this is 1985, probably shot in like 83 or 84. So it's a very dated movie. You know, somebody watching it today, a younger person, you know, a 15-year-old watching it today, I don't even know if they would put up with it. I don't know. But it was nice to see a slower movie. The sister's hot in it. The sister's really cute in it. I'm guessing she's a little young. It was really funny. There's a scene. There's a scene where, you know, he's playing the pole position game, and he literally, like, he does something that would be impossible for any human to do on the earth. Like, he's playing the game so fast and dodging cars and breaks the game. And she goes, like, a normal person would react like, what the I mean, like, you'd be so creeped out and shocked. But she goes, pretty cool. Just like, you know, like it says like game over. Like, he broke the game. He's going so fast he broke the game. And he didn't hit any other car for like a minute straight. And she just goes, well, whatever. Yeah, I mean, just her reactions were really. She just goes, oh, wow, you're pretty good at that game. Cool. And she just says, okay, you know, let's go get dinner. It was just, yeah, kind of to see it to be funny, I guess. Yeah, great orchestral score. You know, I wonder if they marketed the movie originally, and I should have looked this up, actually. I wonder if when they originally marketed the movie, like, let's say this is in movie theaters, right? Like, 1985 goes in movie theaters. Did they market the movie knowing that Daryl was a robot? And I meant to watch the trailer of that, like, before I recorded the video, but then I got a couple emails and I forgot why I went over there. But, it's interesting, like, watching the movie for like 45 minutes and not knowing he's a robot, and you, like, first time viewers, are you wondering why he's doing all these things? Like, you know, well, how is it he can hit the ball so well? How is it he knows so much? Oh, piano too. Like, he plays piano. Like he's Mozart and he's like 10. You know, it's like you wonder how. You know, I would guess, seeing this for the first time in the theater, you know, 30 years ago, I would think that you didn't know he was a robot, and that was a big reveal. I would think that, because the movie is not as good if you know he's a robot, because there's no mystery to it. So, I was wondering that, and I mean, after this is record, I'm going to go watch the trailer on YouTube, but I would guess it was a surprise to the audience he was a robot. Oh yeah, the car chases are pretty nuts in this movie. You know, like the last like 40 minutes, 30 minutes where Daryl tries to get back home. There's a lot of car chasing. You know, one of the guys sneaks, the main guy actually, the main scientist guy. I said his name earlier. He's an older actor. He's probably dead now, but he sneaks Daryl out of the facility, the military facility, and he gets caught right away. And he has to like outrun a bunch of cops. And there's cars. I mean, like, that's what's cool back in the day, man. Like, you don't think it was CG. You know, if there's a cop car that needs to, you know, hit something and roll over and blow up, like, that's what fucking happens. And there's tons of that in this movie. There's tons of car chasing and cars getting fucking hammered. I mean, it must have been a big long shoot with just car chases. Yeah, I felt like there was like a 10-15 minute car chase in the movie. Oh, right. Oh, there's a line. Daryl goes to the scrapyard. That was funny. But, yeah, it's funny. There was a scene that cracked me up. And see, this, like me talking about very specific scenes and why they were funny, it plays better, like, on a podcast, because you have somebody who saw it, too, and you can go back and forth on why it was so stupid. But the guy, he literally just puts a blanket over Daryl in the back seat. Just puts a blanket over him and drives out of a secured military base. And I was laughing at the idea as I saw this. I was laughing at the idea that it's complete, like back then, I don't know if people were watching the movie and saying like, are you kidding me? Like, there's no way you could get him out of that base just by putting a blanket over the back seat. Like, they would clearly check your back seat if you were leaving a military base. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, back then, the writers were thinking like, well, we have to get Daryl out of the base somehow. You know, like, oh, just put a blanket over him. And they're like, oh, good idea. I mean, that was probably acceptable writing back then, right? And you watch the movie and you're like, oh, okay, yeah. But, you know, fast forward like 30, 35 years later, there's no fucking way that would fly. You know? I mean, you'd have to have like a him in the trunk, like underneath like a hidden plate. I mean, all this bullshit. I mean, like, I thought that was a funny thought. You just put a blanket over him and just got out of the base, no problem. And I have the ending being sad. A sad ending, but happy. I think I wrote that down. The ending, he reunites with the family. Oh, I know, he dies. That's why it's sad. Oh, that's why it's sad, because the family thinks Daryl dies. Daryl is in a jet, and the military sends a missile to blow the jet up because they're determined to kill Daryl. Right before Daryl gets hit, he ejects and he goes up in the air, and he lands in a lake and drowns. Like the parachute lands, he's unconscious, goes in a lake. So the kids in the family he was living with, they knew he was going to where he was going to be because he called them ahead of time from the jet. And it's really sad because how upset the kids are from Daryl's death. But one of the people from the military base, the other, it's a long story who she is, but she was one of the parents that picked him up in the middle of the movie when they say, you know, Daryl's real parents have been found and they're going to take him back. There was a girl and a guy. The guy snuck Daryl out in the car, but the girl, you know, the guy dies and the girl is still alive. She resuscitates Daryl. She knows how to reprogram him so he comes back to life. So that's what it's. So at the end of the movie, Daryl reunites. Everybody thinks he's dead, and then Daryl reunites with the family, and you know, it's really, I mean, when it comes to like kids and death and stuff like this, like I hang on by a thread every time I watch one of these movies, and to see the kid, the little boy actor is really good actually. Besides the Daryl actor, the other kid who I saw in other '80s movies as well. He was really good in it, and he's just so happy to see his best friend that I started crying in the movie. So that's kind of it. I mean, those are all I don't really have any negative things to say about it. It's a pretty solid movie. It's just dated, and I would give Daryl like a 3 out of 5. I think I mean, there's nothing really wrong with it, but I really can't give it more than a 3 out of 5. It's not like there's so many cool scenes where I love watching it over and over again. I'm trying to think of like it's not like a Lethal Weapon where you can watch over and over. Like the Neverending Story, I can watch until I can watch that every week until I die. It's not like memorable enough where you want to watch it over and over. It's a very straightforward, played out kind of slow story. It would be good for like a Sunday afternoon, like lounge around TV movie or whatever. Oh, it's also worth mentioning that this is on Netflix. This is on Netflix Instant right now. Oh, there's only 7 minutes left of my camera. Fuck, I gotta end this. It's on Netflix. So, you can watch it right now. D.A.R.Y.L, 1985. I'd give it a 3 out of 5. I can't believe this went this long. That is insane. A half-hour video of me talking about one movie. Oh my god. I don't even know what I said, half of what I said. Okay. Wow, sorry. That was, I don't know how to make these shorter. I don't know. But, alright, that's D.A.R.Y.L. So check it out, and let me know. If you've seen this, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Check out killerreviews.com and the Killer Reviews podcast, available everywhere. Everywhere podcasts are sold. Alright, have a good day. Bye.